Today we're going over the mechanic class, formerly known as Dell, going over changes made in Op 5, new best card setups, and anything relevant. To start off with, he has, like Baird, now perks that you can purchase: repair cost, repair speed, fortification health, and fortification damage. Fortification damage, stacked with his overload card, can make his sentries very powerful. Repair cost, in a 50, it's actually kind of nice. I wouldn't do it first. I would do like the damage first after getting the base set up a little bit. And you got all the barriers, weapon lockers built. You're starting to build sentries. Also, while you're building sentries, spend perk money on the damage and then use money in the fabricator to build the sentries. You can also up your repair speed a little bit and your repair cost. I wouldn't go crazy with the repair cost unless it's end game and you just don't know what to spend the money on. Because your initial 1,000 that you spend for level 1, you have to repair 20,000 before you get that back. Now, as Dell, you're spending a lot of money repairing, so you will spend more than 20,000 in a game, especially at 50. Way more than that, than a couple 100,000 repairing in a 50. And that repair cost, it is worth noting, also does count towards your sentries. So if you are building several sentries, then yes, you also want to reduce your repair cost because it will pay for itself unless you're already at the end of the game, and then it won't. But like the beginning to mid game, you can up that a little bit and you will save a little bit of money. But moving on, shouldn't really need the fortification help. I would leave that alone. Repair speed is nice, especially mid to late game when you got extra money. So on to best card setups. Efficient fabrication. Oh, just a quick note. I'm sure you're already aware, but yes, he did receive the discount bump like Baird from 10% to 15%. So his initial without efficient fabrication card on is 15%. If you have your efficient fabrication maxed out at level 6 for 32%, you will get a whopping total of 47% off fabrications, regardless of what level this card is. If you have it, you should have it equipped. He has actually a few cards. Dell is going to your card setup for Dell is going to depend on whether you want to primarily be the engineer or you're just playing the mechanic and you also want to fight while you're repairing and fight a lot in the beginning of the game. So if you do want to fight, this is the setup right here. I'm actually going to change this out. Especially if you're a good engineer, you can drop armored plating and make well, that's the wrong card. Hold on. I'll just go into it. So if you do want to be a combat healing repair, so you're constantly getting stem, overload so your sentries do a lot of damage. Custom robotics for the 60% with the enforcer, overkill, tri-shot, and salvo. It makes his enforcer and his overkill very nice. I wouldn't drop either of those weapons, but you can also grab the M-bar if you're a big fan of the M-bar. Tri-shot, I would definitely have one tri-shot on the locker, definitely by like mid-game to help out with sentinels and guardians and bosses, just in case you need a little bit of help, or if your base is fully repaired and you just want to start off the wave and go in with a tri-shot up until the point like maybe a third of the wave is left and then go and repair. I've done it a lot of times and you have more than enough time to do that, especially if you're good at running around and repairing. Obviously, as we mentioned, efficient fabrication regardless of whatever build you're doing, that is a given. And the other card is personal defense. Now, you might need this card up to actually see just how much it can combo well with custom robotics. But I upped this. It was okay at 3, and then I upped it to 5. It's really nice with the enforcer, with the active rounds. Even on master, like, you can really do a lot of damage while running around with the stem. In the early waves, and even with like 2 clips of active rounds, you can do so much damage as long as you're landing the shots. So for this combo to really be effective, you do need to be in a position where you're not missing a bullet. So if you can control the recoil of the Enforcer, then this is a very nice card. Personally, I'm actually liking running this combo, and I'll just set that up right now so you can see it. I am liking running this here, but alternatively, you could easily drop personal defense, and you could put on something like armor plating is a nice one. Overclock locker, most teams don't care about it anymore. It's only 27%. It's not significant. As long as you're building level 4 lockers, you don't need overclock locker. Now, if you're a low level Dell, and you don't have most of these cards, if you don't have like overload at 4 or 5, or healing repair at 4 or 5, you can easily swap in overclock locker if your other cards are low to give a little bit of a boost. But it's not really needed for most teams. Not at this point. As long as you build level 4 lockers, you'll be fine. The rest of the cards really aren't needed. I mean, for some speed runs or something like that, you could switch in reinforced fabrication. If you're a beginning Dell, Ingenuity is really good because you will save money and have increased repair time. But most Dells that build bases on Masters and win, you don't really need that. I have no problem with Ingenuity off, running around and keeping everything repaired and fighting at the same time. So it's not needed, but this is personal preference. If you are struggling to keep your base repaired, then you might want to run this. And this would be another one you might want to consider as well. So this right here, just to go over one last time, this is your fighting setup for Dell. And if you were going to go more engineer, you could drop personal defense for sure, and put in armor plating or ingenuity. And if you didn't want to fight at all, then you could drop custom robotics as well. And these would be the two that's placed, ingenuity and armored plating. And that is Dell, all the recent changes. Just a note, he did get this bloody shrapnel card, and you might have noticed that I completely disregarded it, and that is because it's crap. This should not be a legendary. This should not be a card that you need to equip. You know what? The developers said they heard us. They realized that everybody agrees Dell's Ultimate is crap. Well, we didn't need a legendary card that we have to equip. It just should have been made better. It naturally should have bled. We don't need a card for this. I mean, if it was like 4 or 6 tracker balls that bleed, maybe. But no, there's too many other cards. You don't get his ultimate that often. And 2 tracker balls that go run out in any which direction that they choose, and then do bleed damage and potentially don't even kill because they hit a target, like a drone out in the middle of the field, and then the other drone just picks him right back up. No, this card is absolute crap, and it's not worth considering. Just did want to go over that real quick. And yes, that is Dell, or the mechanic. All recent changes and new Bez card setups. Not much has changed for him except for this right here, but this is a very nice combo. I forgot to note, but yes, custom robotics used to be 30%, and that's why you might have watched my previous video, and I was like, yeah, it's okay, you can put it on. 60% though, 60% is actually really nice. It makes your tri-shot really hurt your enforcer and overkill in the beginning, and even late game if you can go back to back to back actives, pretty sweet. And as I noted, the combo with the personal defense, when you go and you land those actives back to back, you can even do a lot of damage on masters, drones, scions, a couple back to back active clips on the enforcer, and you'll shred a scion even late game. So it is pretty sweet. And last time, that is the mechanic class. All recent changes made and new best card setups. I hope that helps.